This is the still somewhat ill voice of Alexander K. Lee. I will be your host today for the UFC 276 official weigh-ins. We will be joined by Jose Youngs, who is on site. Well, at least he'll be providing us the footage. Hopefully, Jose will be able to chime in. There's Jose. He has been in Las Vegas all week, of course, with our own Mike Heck. They've been tag teaming International Fight Week, bring you all kinds of amazing coverage, video, quotes, interviews, everything you want. And now we've got the weigh-ins today, so you guys can thank Jose for bringing that. And of course, in the truck, producer extraordinaire, Casey Light.
That's me.
That's you. I'm just setting a poll now, people, so you'll see this in a second. Just asking, what is your most anticipated fight? Because certainly the answer at the beginning of the week might be different than it was now. We've had some very interesting quotes and interactions with some of the fighters.
Oh, tell me more.
We've had.
I'm joking.
Excuse me.
Hey, we're about to start. We're about to start, guys. The players will line up.
I'll throw up this poll.
All right.
Thank you all for being here for the official weigh-in for UFC. Hang on, folks.
Who's first, AK? Who's first? Who do you think?
I didn't think our show was on. Oh, that's so embarrassing.
276, and we will begin with the undisputed UFC featherweight champion, one half of the co-main event, Alexander the Great Volkanovski.
Comes Volkanovski, undisputed. The man did not stutter.
Commission.
Always a good look.
I'm gonna guess 145.
144 and a half. 144 and a half, the official weight for Alexander Volkanovski.
144.5 for the champ, below championship weight.
In his trunks and everything.
Look at that. No problem.
Our next athlete to the scale, his teammate and the undisputed UFC middleweight champion, the last style bender, Israel Adesanya.
Here comes the main event. Middleweight champ, Israel Adesanya. Adesanya.
183 and a half. 183 and a half. The official weight for the champ, Israel Adesanya.
183.5, well under for the champ. I don't think this is the first time he's come in under. I'd have to check. I believe he's
coming under, but this is I think this is the lowest he's come in for sure.
I'll have to check. I thought he hit 183 and a half before. But... And here is the challenger. So, get that music ready, Casey. Get that music ready.
The former heavyweight.
184 and a half. 184 and a half. The official weight for Cannonier.
184.5 for Jared Cannonier, the challenger. Casey, Saturday's main event is now official. Damn. That was
next athlete to the scale, one of the all-time greats, the former UFC featherweight champion of the world, Max Holloway.
And we're about to have another championship fight official. Guys, I'm just
144 and a half.
There you go.
144 and a half. The official weight for Max Holloway. Your co-main event and main events are official.
144.5 for Max Holloway. Yes.
In the welterweight division, you can see it live on both ESPN and ABC.
Sorry, John Heck beat John Heck. Sean Anik beat you to it.
People are already saying that they're like brothers, so don't confuse them further. I better get this tweet right. Did I mess up that other tweet?
Is this Gabe Green?
Well, let me know. Say in the comments if I'm. Oh, sorry. This is Gabe Green, correct?
170. 170. That was the official weight for Gabe Green.
Official.
Our next athlete to the scale, also competing in the welterweight division, live on the pay-per-view main card, Brian Bam Bam Barberino.
Oh, I have been told by other people in the chat that Adesanya did come in at 183 for both Vettori and Gastelum. So
thank you. That's right. Yeah, That's what I thought. He had definitely come in more than a pound under before. Yeah. Gabe Green.
170 and a half, the official weight for Brian Barberina.
Sorry guys, that was Gabe Green 170. Now Brian Barberina 170.5.
13th ranked middleweight in the world at present, Andre
Muniz coming up. What ranking is he in the UFC?
Who?
Andre Muniz.
Did the real rankings?
No, in their rank, UFC's ranking.
No, I don't acknowledge 50? Those.
He's 10th. He's 10th in ours. 185.5 for Andre Muniz.
I think potentially the second best middleweight on the card.
Ooh. That's quite a claim. Got a lot of middleweight talent on this card.
DDP.
Dricus du Plessis.
185 for Dricus du Plessis.
185 for Dricus du Plessis, championship weight.
Moving on now to the UFC bantamweight division as we say hello to Julia Stoliarenko.
Opening the prelims, Julia Stoliarenko, former Invicta FC bantamweight champion.
136. 136 pounds, the official weight for Julia Stoliarenko.
136 for Julia Stoliarenko. Everything looking good so far.
Prelim live on ABC and ESPN in the lightweight division. 14th ranked contender
Brad Riddell. Where is he in our rankings? Brad Riddell, we have it. Number 13 in our rankings.
155 and a half. The official weight for Brad Riddell.
155.5. The Oceanic boys all showing out on the scale. No problem.
His
Very
first
professional.
fight back since his loss to Fiziev.
Correct? That is correct.
Live on pay-per-view, the Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley.
One of the most talked about fighters of this card, and every card he's on.
Brad Riddell?
Sean O'Malley.
Oh.
Yes.
135 pounds, the official weight for the 13th ranked contender, Sean O'Malley.
35 on the dot. Championship weight for Sean O'Malley.
I feel this week Sean O'Malley's been very under the radar. I don't know. I've heard very little from him, honestly. The top 3 fights have really overshadowed.
Well, he's about to see if his opponent is on weight. Shouldn't be an issue for the man with the most appearances in UFC bantamweight history.
That is wild.
135 and a half. 135 and a half for Pedro Munoz.
135.5 for Pedro Munoz. Yes, I was saying he has the most. This is his.
AK, come on, AK.
Oh, what's? Oh, I'm sorry.
Say it.
Wait, I don't want to interrupt. Munoz versus O'Malley is now official. This is UFC appearance number 19 for Pedro Munoz, all at 135 pounds.
185 and a half, the official weight for Brad Tavares.
Brad Tavares, 185.5. His fight with Andre Muniz. Oh, sorry, excuse me, with Dricus du Plessis is now official.
All right, next fighter to the scale in the UFC flyweight division, former world title challenger.
You have one job, AK. One job.
Listen, his fight with Muniz is not official because it doesn't exist. So,
You're tuning in for that fight.
Yeah, I apologize. That's a guy.
126, the official weight for Jessica.
126 for Jessica Eye. Using that 1 pound allowance. Why not? That's what it's there for.
I gotta say, everyone has a very nice tan today.
People are wearing Vegas well. People are wearing Vegas well, including Mike Heck.
And we say hello to mixed martial arts royalty, the UFC legend Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
Here comes Cowboy weighing in again, and hopefully fighting this weekend.
This is a welterweight match. Right,
This is a welterweight fight, correct.
So
First
coming
time,
in
I think,
late
in the
for
UFC
this,
for Jim Miller.
170 and a half.
No
170
problem.
and a half, the official weight for Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
170.5 for Cowboy.
That man has cut to 55 2 times for no good reason. So
Yeah.
All right, next fighter to the scale. You can see him compete in Freedom Live on ESPN and ABC in the welterweight division. The future, Ian Gary.
The future Ian Gary. Is this one of those nicknames he'll have to give up someday?
please.
171. 171 pounds, the official weight
One-
for Ian Gary.
171 for Ian Gary using the 1 pound allowance. His fight with Gabe Green is now official.
Dude, we're like,
We
Wow.
are flying through here. Yeah, do you have the, let's see.
it doesn't matter.
Still-
We can get 99% of the fighters.
Yeah.
So that's that one person that decides to sleep in.
Today it's probably Jim Miller, if we're being
You're right.
honest.
No,
Jim Miller's
I-
probably at like 166. He's probably trying to eat something, so he gets closer to 170. He's probably like
We call those
166 right
we call those people Hakeem Duato. Remember in Edmonton, he showed up at like 10:58.
now.
Just for the heck of it, yeah. Do we have a break in action, Mister?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. In a few
Okay.
minutes, you'll be able to see the main and co-main event weigh in on MMA Fighting social channels.
All right, that's right, guys. Yeah, if you missed it, yeah, there you go. Check out the social channels. Of course, we'll clip it later. We'll replay it on this show as well when there's a bit more of a dead time. And yeah, you guys can see again. Listen, we live in the age of the internet.
Do we?
You can't miss anything. We've got the graphic up there. You know, I don't want to see any comments in the side. Oh, did so and so weigh in? Did anyone miss? Guys, graphic right there.
Right there.
Right there. It's all the information is right there. We only have a few fights official. Pedro Munoz, Sean O'Malley, the first main card fight, and Brad Tavares, Dricus du Plessis. Oh, and also the two biggest fights at the top: Israel Adesanya and Jared Cannonier, and the trilogy between Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway. I don't think anyone is surprised that those 4 gentlemen were I believe they were the first 4 to weigh in. It was first featherweights, what was it? First featherweights, 2 middleweights. Why am I trying to remember this? No one cares about this information. Let's see the early returns on the poll here, guys. We were just asking, what fight are you looking forward to the most? Got quite a few votes already so far. Volkanovski, Holloway, 45%. Now, the other options on the poll are, of course, the main event, Strickland, Pereira, and O'Malley, Munoz. I left off Miller and, Cerrone. I imagine that might be up there. Probably a lot of prelim fights that I'm sure people are looking forward to. So,
I think we're looking forward to almost every fight. I would say every fight.
it's
but-
a very, very good-looking card.
Dude, this card rules.
This is an excellent card.
This
Is a
this card
pay-per-view.
used to have Misha Tate and Lauren Murphy just last week.
I know.
This card
we
was-
lost it.
I remember, yeah, because I don't want to get too excited, so I didn't actually look at this full card till probably maybe Friday of last week, and I was like, holy moly! Like every fight, actually, I'm interested in, and I don't get that often on UFC cards.
Yeah. We'll give just a quick rundown from the bottom. We got Jessica Rose Clark. It's just nice to see any sort of movement in the bantamweight division. Jessica and Macy Barber, huge opportunity for Macy Barber. Very smart of her. She's jumping in on short notice for Casey O'Neill to get this big veteran win under her belt. I know people.
Speaking of
Mhm.
which,
Oh,
Jesse Jess is about to weigh in.
all right. Jessica Rose Clark on her way.
Sing the song. Do your aerial impression of.
I'm just a sexy boy. He's not your boy toy.
toy.
Is she actually? They're not gonna let her come out to that.
Why not?
I don't know.
The UFC fans can't handle that sexiness.
No, don't they have to pay for? I mean, won't they have to pay for that song specifically?
No, it
WWE.
works different. Because if you're playing it in an arena
Yeah.
versus you hear it in the background, it's like background.
I think you still have to ask though. In the combat sports entertainment world, I think you have to ask.
135 and a half, the official weight for Jessica Rose Clark.
135.5 for Jessica Rose Clark. Her fight with Julia Solyrenko is official. And yes, she told Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour that she will walk out to Shawn Michaels' classic theme song, Sexy Boy. So I don't know. I hope so. Like you said, Casey, that's, when you're playing things live, it's a bit fast and loose. You might not be able to see on Fight Pass later, but hopefully.
They cut it out. Yes, I know live broadcasts has got different rights.
Yeah, but I think like in this, but I meant more like in the sports entertainment world. Is if you're using like a theme, like some don't you think they have to ask WWE? It's not, don't you think they're gonna call Vince or call Shawn Michaels and be like, it's okay if we use this?
You think Shawn Michaels is like, she's not sexy boy enough?
One of the comments says it was approved. So, but hey, listen, my fingers are crossed. I hope it's true. We don't know. Fight night, you never know what can happen.
Colby walked out to Kurt Angle's theme song.
He did. This is true. But I bet that was cleared. I bet you they asked Kurt Angle or the WWE or someone.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's a fact. I don't know. I have no inside information. I don't know if that's true.
Okay, you're really into getting permission for these
hashtag.
This is your highlight today. Like
hashtag
guys,
rules
have
rule.
we got permission, publishing rights to this yet?
Hashtag rules rule. I remember at a minor.
Okay, we got a question.
What's going on? Oh my God. MJ, are you? You know what? Maybe he's only listening to us and not watching. Maybe he doesn't have the screen. Okay, guys. MJ, look at the graphic. It has who weighed in. It has what they weighed in at. It has what fights are official. I remember I was watching a minor league Canadian show, and someone came out to Bret Hart's theme music, and it was like the greatest thing I'd ever seen.
That's kind of redundant.
Yeah. You're saying every fight? It's just too obvious. You think every Canadian fighter was? Gosh, what show was that? I think it was like a Score MMA show back when the Score MMA was a thing. But yeah, it was very cool. So yeah, listen, if you can come out to Pro Wrestler's theme music, I mean, I definitely recommend it. I wonder if I would love it if it would cost the UFC money and they would never do it if they produced a theme for one of their fighters someday. But she said, yeah, as J Ray BO2 telling us it was approved. So, man, guys, listen, I'm just saying, if it doesn't get played, don't be disappointed. You never know what can happen on fight night. There could be some last. Didn't what was his name? Mickey Gall say like he thought he was gonna be able to come out to Hey Mickey until like fight night rolled around, and then they told him he couldn't. Am I making that up, Jose? Did I just make that story up?
Yeah.
No, you're not making that
up. Okay.
But then Joe Silva got him approved.
Yeah.
But this is when I believe when Joe Silva was like about to leave the UFC, so he's like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Like he found out that it got approved while he was walking out.
Right. Oh, so he did come out. End up coming out to it first. Okay. I thought.
Yeah,
I remember he came out eventually.
If you watch that entrance,
right.
Like the music plays and he just starts laughing.
Oh, he thought he wasn't gonna get it. He wanted it. Thought he wasn't gonna get it. Then he got it.
Yeah.
Shout outs to all my Canadians. It is Canada Day. Nick Baldwin in the comments, of course. The illustrious Nick Baldwin reminding us it's a happy Canada Day. So happy Canada Day to all my American friends as well, if you choose to celebrate. I know you're a big Canada Day guy, Casey.
I love
huge Canada Day. I know I know you're missing a Canada Day celebration in California right now. I know they do a lot of those, which we really appreciate.
Dude, there's like a Canada Day parade right now in the downtown Inglewood.
I know, and I'm sorry you're missing it.
Yeah, this is like the hotbed in Southern California for Canada Day parades.
Yeah,
on Friday morning.
We're really happy. Shout outs also. Speaking of Canada Day, Sarah Coppin retired earlier this week. Pioneer, friend of the show.
I'm sad she's retiring.
Multiple MMA fighting programs. We hung out with her in Vancouver when we were in Vancouver.
Got bit by mosquitoes with her.
Yes, we did. Yes. So
Calgary,
a great fighter.
It's Calgary?
No, I think it was it was in Vancouver. When it rained, there was that week it rained all the time, and I found out that there was no Ubers in Vancouver, and I had no idea.
No Ubers in Vancouver?
There were no Uber. There's no Ubers. Yeah, that's a bar.
Is that the new Dr. Seuss book?
It is no Ubers in Vancouver, so you have to take a tuber. But yeah, Sarah Coffin, a real one, an original. Definitely someone who, unfortunately, because she had she wasn't able to get fights over the last few years because people just didn't want to sign her for whatever reason. People have kind of forgotten, but former Invictus champion, former Strikeforce champion, that was a big deal to be the Strikeforce champion at the time when she had the belt.
I'm pretty confident she's one of the only champions that weren't atom weights from Invicta that didn't get signed by the UFC.
Yeah,
and the UFC.
No. After they would never bring her back for some reason. She had 4 fights in the UFC. Right. Yeah, and they just never wanted to bring her back. It might have been a price thing. Who knows? Because she's a veteran. I think it was just they didn't want her beating up some of the up and comers. I don't know. Casey? What do you got? What can you share?
They just didn't want her in the UFC. Even though there were lots of fresh matchups for her. A lot of people she's beaten were in the UFC, and they just didn't want her. That's about it. So she was regulated to fight at 155 in PFL, which she had some success in, but then she ran into Larissa Pacheco, and she was just like, that girl was just too big and too strong for me, and she didn't.
Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah, and she just wanted to fight at 35. She couldn't make 25, healthy. So she got tired of waiting around.
Her last fight in April, I think, with Justin Mealy was actually at 145. So she still couldn't find people who wanted to fight her at bantamweight. So, but she was victorious. She went out in a win, and people S in the chat. S in the chat for Sarah Kaufman, please. Come on, throw some S in the chat for Sarah Kaufman. She's a real one, an original, and hopefully someone we'll still be seeing on the MAZ. Coaching, training. Maybe on MMA fighting programming again. Who knows? So, I guess we should talk about this card, Casey.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I guess. Besides talking about how great it is. Oh, we were sort of running it down in reverse order before. So, yeah, big opportunity for Macy Barber. She wins that. I think she's not quite in our rankings. I believe she's a Favre. She's a fighter also receiving a vote.
I need to bring up these rankings.
Yeah, I believe she's on the edge. I believe she's on 1 or 2 of our ballots, but not quite enough to points to make it. But I think if she beats Jessica Ai, she might sneak in there. I'll have to look again. Andre Muniz, as you said, Casey, maybe the second best second. Did you say second most talented or second best?
Let's go. Whatever. Second most talented.
Second most talented middleweight. I see those S's in there. Second most talented middleweight facing Uriah Hall. Big test. That is the definition of a
have Muniz at rank number 10.
10, yeah. I thought they said like 14.
Strickland is 8, and Cannonier is 4. And
I don't even want to
not have Prayer ranked. I don't think anyone has Max.
No, and I don't think he's done enough to get ranked yet either.
That's really interesting. Actually, this fight makes 0 sense ranking wise. Actually, I can't think of especially coming off a win, where a top 5, or at least in the UFC's ranking, Strickland was Strickland ranked in the UFC?
Oh, I didn't see. Yeah, see, I dropped their rankings are all wonky because I think they said like Muniz was like 14, and I'm like, really? Like, why would he be so low? Who do they have above him?
I can't recall someone coming off a win that's in the top 5 fighting.
I'm sorry, they have
unranked.
They have Muniz 13, Strickland 4. So same as Strickland. You said we had Strickland 4.
Yeah.
They had Strickland. We have Strickland 4 as well?
No. We have Strickland at, I think, 8.
What do we have wow. Okay, interesting. They have Strickland 4.
No, we have Strickland at 8. He's behind Whitaker. Well, this is a little bit old now, but we have Misasi up here. But Whitaker, Misasi, Cannonier, Vittori, Brunson, Costa, then Strickland.
Yeah, Musasi will be out of there with the loss to Johnny Eblin, unfortunately.
Where do we put Johnny? Okay, that's for the rankings.
I don't know. Yeah, honestly, I looked at my rankings immediately after that last Bellator card, and I'm like, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do here. Okay, so yes, a stiff test against Uriah Hall for Andre Muniz. So if he gets past that, very good for him.
You know what's interesting? I was looking at this card, like Jessica Ai, Uriah Hall, Brad Tavares, even Pedro Munoz.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like all different level gatekeepers.
Yep.
Because these are all kind of Barber, Muniz,
Duplessis, DDP.
Yeah.
An experienced guy, but new to the UFC for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, DP. Yeah, these are the prospects, and these are the guys they have to beat. The kind of ladies they have to beat to go that next step. That's why this card's so kind of awesome. That's why it's laid out so perfectly, I think.
Even Robbie Lawler would be a nice win for Barberina. I mean, it's not going to get him ranked or anything, but what a nice veteran win that would be to have on his resume, right? It's a really well constructed card.
Yeah, I don't really think of Robbie Lawler as a gatekeeper though. I think Robbie Lawler is just you just kind of want to see him in fun fights now.
He's just the man.
Yeah, he's just the man. Yeah,
just the man. Yeah.
Jose, you're there.
Yes.
Okay, what was the most enjoyable media day scrum? on Wednesday?
Who did you learn the most?
Jim Miller's was that.
Oh, sorry.
Jim Miller's was really good. Just because I've never heard Jim Miller actually I don't know. Maybe it's because he's not cutting weight, but he just seems much more honest and open. Sugar Sean's was really good because he was just funny and he actually kind of rattled down a lot of the bantamweights. Like he talked TJ, Jan, Aljo, Cruz, Cheeto, Yanez, Munoz. So he was just talks a lot about bantamweights. Cannoniers was good just because I love how he's just I don't give a F about anyone else except for me. So the Nizzies was always good. So those are the ones that stood out to me the most.
Casey was kind of saying it felt like O'Malley was a little less, I don't know, prominent.
Subdued.
Yeah, subdued, a little more subdued. Did you? So are you getting that vibe though? I mean, do you still feel like he's one of the bigger names on this card? Are you still getting the sense that there is anticipation to watch him fight this weekend, or is it true he's kind of taking a look? Yes, okay.
Yeah, so I asked O'Malley his first question at the press conference, and as soon as I said question for Sean O'Malley, the arena popped. So if you watch it, I have to pause to ask my question because just the mention of him, the crowd kind of lit up. So yeah, people are excited for Sean O'Malley.
I felt Sean himself was a bit just. I think he was kind of taking a backseat to the. He's just okay.
Sean O'Malley is a guy that he's just very he's flashy, but his answers are very direct. What do you think about Adrian Yanez? And then he gives you a really well thought out answer.
next athlete
there we go.
Scale, competing in UFC's welterweight division, a legend making his record 40th UFC appearance, Jim Miller.
Jim Miller, 40th UFC appearance, I believe his first in the UFC at 170.
170 and a half, the official weight for Jim Miller.
170.5. So I was wrong. He is not coming in way under. He's coming in over because there's literally just cutting nothing and probably just his walk around weight. 170.5 for Jim Miller, his fight with Donald Cowboy Cerrone. It's now official. You know what? But Jose makes a good point about O'Malley. He doesn't. You know, one thing he doesn't really do is he doesn't raise his voice. I don't know if I've ever heard him shout or yell like a promo. He doesn't really do that. He does it. He is expressive. It's not like he's completely cool.
He does it after. He does it after his fights.
Right. Yeah.
Well, he celebrates big. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But coming into the fight, he's kind of.
Yeah. He's not really here to hoot and holler, as it were. I think that is something that helps. I mean, you're a boisterous person. I mean, that's just, we know that. Yeah, and I think that's part of his appeal, right? There's so many things about him that stand out. I mean, his physical appearance.
You think people are into him because he doesn't hoot and holler?
I think it's a little different. I think it's like again, as Jose was saying, he does put a lot of thought into his answers. I mean, look how many quotes we get from him
people
for
are
headlines.
Sean O'Malley because he plays video games and smokes a lot of weed.
That too. Yeah, I mean, he knows his audience. He knows his audience. he is a man of the people, if nothing else. He's certainly a man of the people. So yeah, and Pedro Munoz, a very good test for him right now.
Heck of a
Casey,
test.
Who you liking in this one?
And he wears
Casey, who you liking?
And he wears 2 watches
on the same arm.
No, did you not watch the?
I haven't watched it.
Did you not watch the media day?
No. What do you do?
So Sean O'Malley has watches on both wrists. And neither of them work. And I go, why are you? Because I'm like, is there a reason? He's like, yeah, I got 2 wrists. And I was like, you know what? Fair enough.
Oh, I used to wear a watch for years that didn't work just because I like the way it feels.
Yeah, I asked him, I go, why do you have 2? He goes, well, I have 2 wrists. I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah, hey man, that's thinking.
You guys are crazy. Watches are functional. They are, I don't know when use them anymore, so but if you watch their face off on UFC on MMA Fighting's YouTube page, he looks at both wrists. Like when he puts the face off in the press conference, he checks the time on both wrists. I'm like, Sean, those don't work. You told us they don't work.
Again, listen,
I'm not as famous or successful or popular as Sean O'Malley, so I'm not going to tell him how to do it. If wearing 2 watches that don't work on your wrists makes you cool or hip or with it, then I guess I'm just not part of that. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what the kids are into, but
I
2
don't
watches.
know, AK. I think you're sus.
Oh, damn. Are you using that right? I wouldn't even know.
Am I using? I don't know.
No.
Mike Heck's little kid says it. So
Casey, who do you like in the Munoz O'Malley matchup?
That's tough. That's a tough one. Man, has Munoz been knocked out?
No, that was if you go and watch the UFC 276 press
tough.
conference on MMA Fighting's YouTube page, they'll say Sean O'Malley said no one's ever turned his lights off, and that's his goal.
I'm gonna go Munoz.
You're going Munoz.
I'm going Munoz.
By?
Decision. I think it's gonna be a competitive fight, but I think Munoz's grappling will win the fight.
Sean O'Malley's a really good grappler.
Pedro Munoz is also a very good grappler too, who likes to brawl. So we'll see.
Let's go to Topology here. Let's see. What are the good people on Topology saying, Casey? Let's see here.
Topology, let me bring it up.
84% for O'Malley.
Very interesting.
84% O'Malley. 51% O'Malley by KO.
That's wild. Hey man, but this is the time. That's why this fight is, why this fight was made. Like I guess O'Malley and the UFC is, this is the big test, I know I think Vera was probably a tougher test, but at the time Vera wasn't kind of seen in the same way. Cheeto Vera. But we know Pedro Munoz is right now, and I think this is Sean O'Malley's toughest. Actually, let me bring up this comment from Tristan Gordet.
Our pal Tristan says, just as Mike said last week about Shavkat Rakhmonov, this may be the most important fight for Sean O'Malley in his career. Yeah, certainly up to this point. Pedro Munoz is in a bit of a slump. Now, he's only lost, look who he's lost to. Yeah. Aljo. Frankie Edgar, very close fight. The Frankie Edgar fight easily could have gone either way. Beats Jimmy Rivera. I think that was the last fight of Jimmy Rivera's in the UFC, if I'm not mistaken. And then Jose Aldo, Dominic Cruz.
And the Cruz fight was super close, too. Remember how close he came to finishing Cruz?
Yeah, and before that, he beat 3 solid names. He knocked out Cody Garbrandt, he beat Brian Caraway, and he beat Brett Johns, who was actually doing really well in the UFC at the time. So he's faced nothing but top 10, top 20 ranked guys in his UFC career recently. John Dodson before that, Rob Font before that. That's a hell of a recent resume.
Yeah, I think, Pedro Munoz, he's one of those higher level gatekeepers, like that top 10 gatekeeper. Like if you want to consider Sean O'Malley a potential title contender, you have to beat guys like Pedro Munoz, and that's why this is a good fight. Makes sense.
And if the Edgar fight had gone the other way, we know we're looking at it in a very different light. So, and as you said, a guy who never gets knocked out. Sean O'Malley won 2 decisions in the UFC. The first one against Tyrion Ware, very convincing, his UFC debut, and then of course the Andre Sukumtats fight, where it was a convincing win up until the point where he injured himself at the end, and unfortunately. Andre Sukumtat did not capitalize on that, and then the time just ran out.
Standing up at any point.
Listen, you're in the middle of a fight. I don't know. He wasn't thinking. I'll always look back on that as a what if, right? But ever since then, it's all been finishes for Sean O'Malley. So I don't know if this is finish or bust for him. So Casey, you're picking Munoz. Is this because you don't think O'Malley can win a decision?
No. Yes, that's why. I think Pedro will, over 15 minutes, will beat O'Malley.
Jose, do you agree? Also, there was a Moutinho fight, which also went 3 rounds, though I guess that could have ended, almost went 3 rounds. That probably could have ended, arguably could have ended
in 30 seconds. So we would have been cool.
No problem. Jose, same question. Are you also leaning towards Munoz?
Hold on, Kenny's talking.
Okay, no worries. So the odds for O'Malley as of now,
No,
again,
not yet.
It's actually pretty
disclaimer,
similar.
don't gamble on MMA. Don't gamble on MMA.
I still question the durability over 15 minutes that Sean O'Malley would have to go through to beat a fighter like Pedro Munoz.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a lot of wear and tear on his fists and shins, and Sean O'Malley has a long, lanky frame. And actually, that's kind of what the beauty of mixed martial arts is. Like, these are two, elite bantamweights, but completely different molds. Like,
yeah.
There's just completely different body types, and that's that's also like just the fun part about the sport.
Sometimes the mixing of the martial arts and the mixing of the body types can be very compelling.
Yeah,
I get it. But yeah, just to remind people again. So right now, Sean O'Malley, according to our pals on DraftKings, minus 295, almost a 3-1 favorite over Pedro Munoz. So I'm pretty sure that moved in his direction. I'm pretty sure that means more people have been putting some cash down on Mr. Sugar. I will remind people, and again, by the way, I'm also leaning towards O'Malley. So I should say I'm not like saying the odds are crazy, but again, this.
I think logic goes O'Malley winning.
Sure, but look at these last performances from Munoz again. Dominic Cruz, Jose Aldo, Jimmy Rivera, Frankie Edgar, Aljo. Wow, that is, and then you compare that to Sean O'Malley's competition, which has been fine, but
he's dominated his competition.
He has dominated, yes, except for the Marlon
He's
Vera
done what
fight.
he's supposed to do. In dominant fashion. But
this is true. He doesn't book the fights. There's so many reasons there's so much intrigue in this fight. And then again, you look at their resumes, you look at their records, you look at their styles, like you said, the physical comparisons, where they're at in their careers, age-wise. It's compelling stuff. This could have easily been a co-main event on a weaker pay-per-view, on a one-title fight pay-per-view. It could have been a fight night headliner. But I guess
it's going to be a fight night headliner for sure.
But he's probably a pay-per-view man. He's probably a pay-per-view man now, other than unless some big fight on like
this is main event fight night.
Yeah. All right. We are still waiting for Robbie Lawler. Brian Barberina did weigh in 170.5. Mr. Barberina is it's barely an underdog. I mean, but he's not favored. Robbie Lawler's the slight favorite at minus 125. Casey, surprising to you?
You said Robbie Lawler is the favorite?
Robbie Lawler is very slight, minus 125. So
that's
just
interesting. On Tapology, 54% of people are picking Barberina. So on just a straight picks. I'm probably going Barberina. I like Robbie Lawler, man. I've known Robbie for a very long time, but he just hasn't looked, like a top tier welterweight in a little bit. And what is Barberina coming off of?
He fought Darian Weeks, I think. Oh, Matt Brown. I'm sorry,
Matt Brown.
Yep.
Remember that one
against Matt Brown. Duh.
Remember that one that people kept whining about open scoring after?
Oh God. Yeah, right.
Which
and then we
no
had
one did on this website, so it's irrelevant, right?
That was the because I don't remember I remember the fight being very close. I mean,
it was very
I would love to
close,
fight that,
and
but was scoring, but
it was in Columbus. And Matt Brown was like, I didn't coast, but I didn't fight hard because I thought I was winning. And I was like, that's dumb. Anyway,
and then he went
Matt Brown was being dumb. What happened? I'm sorry.
Matt Brown said he kind of took he said he said a bunch of comments after he tweeted out like kind of contradictory. But the first comment was he said like, I kind of took the foot off the pedal, because I thought I was up. And then he later changed his mind and said he didn't say that.
Yeah. And then he went on the MMA hour and then there was like a point in time where we had like every guest was talking about open scoring, and it was like kind of genesis from that fight.
Because our pal Ariel is always pushing that open scoring. Probably. Oh, I'm sorry. What's going on?
Breaking news. Coming in hot. Mr. Mike Heck.
Hi guys.
Michael Heck, straight from Radio Row. Look at him.
It is. I'm at UFC X right now on Radio Row, and there's not much going on. So I figured, you know what? What would make me happy right now? Would put me in a great place mentally before doing all these interviews. Hanging out with my best friend, my best producer, my partner in crime who's on the other side of the city, Jose Youngs. I mean, why not? Hang out with the best crew in MMA. Let's go.
Mike, it's been quite a show already. We've got a few fights official. I don't know if you've been keeping track of the weigh-ins. We've got O'Malley and Munoz. We've got Jim Miller, Don Cerrone. We got the title fights at the top are official. Adesanya and Cannonier, Volkanovski, Holloway 3. It's been a party so far. It hasn't been quite the same without you doing one of your trademark rundowns, but we haven't really had to. Again, we've only had a few fights official. So Jessica Rose Clark, Julie Stoliarenko. I should have shot them out as well. Gabe Green and Ian Gary. So there you go. So about a little less than half the card. But yeah, we're going through some picks. What's your feel, Mike, for Robbie Lawler, Brian Barberena? What are your thoughts on that matchup?
Hi Bruno, thank you. It's a great fight. I think it's actually the right fight to make. I lean Brian Barberena to kind of just come through in just a pure battle. I don't think either guy's going away. I just don't know. I don't know if Robbie has that power at this point in his career to put Brian out of there. So I think it's a 15-minute war. I lean Barberena to come through down the stretch, but not all that confident in really picking either guy. But I just love the fight. Love the fight. Can't wait for it.
Not confident in picking either guy. You couldn't give us a little something to work with, a little sink our teeth into, Mike?
Brian, I'm leaning Brian Barberena.
Oh, you said Brian. You said
Brian. Yeah, pay attention.
Yeah. I gave an official pick.
I was looking at DraftKings. I apologize. I was looking at our friend
promo code MMA Hour. I got
promo code MMA Hour. Don't bet on MMA, but if you do, promo code MMA Hour at DraftKings.
Support them because they support us.
They support us. Mike, we are still waiting on Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira. So I'll be honest with you. I have kind of skipped around some of the press conference stuff. I am told Sean Strickland put on a show, as Sean Strickland does. I was certainly listening to your show, Mike. I think we have to change Sean Strickland's name to Sean Love Him or Hate Him Strickland, because I feel like you had to add that disclaimer every time we bring him up now. He's certainly polarizing. He certainly has a lot of people who do love him. There's a big Sean Strickland fan base out in the community. So yeah, how are you feeling about this fight and Sean Strickland's stock heading into it?
This has become not at the same level, but this has become the Gilbert Burns, Khamzat Chimaev of UFC 276, where a lot of the intrigue has turned to this fight, even in certain ways above the two title fights, especially in Vegas. Sean Strickland was over like Rover. He got one of the biggest pops at the press conference, and we don't like to break down the fourth wall about traffic and interest and numbers, but by far, Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira have been the talk of the site for this fight week. Over the main event, over the co-main event, it's been the Strickland Pereira show, and what that press conference has done has given Israel Adesanya a really interesting opportunity, puts him in a really interesting place, because no matter if Adesanya wins tomorrow, no matter who comes out of that Strickland Pereira fight, it's a very big fight. The Pereira fight, from a storyline, the competitive standpoint, the story is there. And then Strickland, just what he did at the press conference yesterday, was ridiculous in building that fight. So Adesanya, if victorious, there's two very compelling options for him. And that's, I think, although it seemed at certain points that Strickland may have kind of rattled Adesanya and got him upset, Adesanya might be the winner of the press conference, because if he wins on Saturday, both these fights are super interesting, and we'll get attention heading into it for sure.
That's the answer. Adesanya won the press conference because he's going to make the money at the end.
Yeah, I wonder how many people, because all I saw was people talking about Strickland. I'm like, I hope people know that Strickland is not fighting Adesanya this weekend. They're fighting different opponents, but based on the sort of the social media chatter I was seeing, I'm like, oh wow, like really people really want to see these two go at it. It's a shame they both have different opponents on Saturday. But I mean, I think they're compelling fights. But yeah, now it feels like people we are really hoping Strickland wins. They're really hoping Izzy wins, and that this is the next logical way to go. So, and now if you're the UFC, you're definitely you can't lose now with the Strickland Pereira matchup. If Pereira wins, then you have that trilogy that everyone's been talking about since Pereira. Since he won an LFA, before he even signed with the UFC, everyone's thinking like, okay, what steps does he have to go to get his way back to Izzy for a trilogy bout, but in MMA. So he's literally one fight away. He beats Strickland, and you just give him the shot. And then, of course, Sean Strickland's on a much more impressive streak in the UFC middleweight division. he wins. And after that, yes, apparently after all this this chatter between them, that's the fight to make. And Jared Cannonier, the forgotten man in all this. So who knows? Maybe he throws a wrench in the whole thing.
I think he's okay with that.
Yeah, right. So based on our poll, Volkanovski Holloway 3, the fight people are looking forward to. Strickland versus Pereira is second right now at 29%. Adesanya versus Cannonier way behind at 15%. So people are really more intrigued over who's going to fight Adesanya next than who he's fighting.
That's such a shame because Cannonier, like, he's earned this spot. This isn't like I keep thinking like, oh, Cannonier got this for some stupid I don't know, like he just fell into it. But no, he earned this spot. He was the legit number one contender. But it's so wild that there's just no buzz for it. And why is it? Because is his dominance, or what? Why do you think that is?
Because Jared is not selling.
What does Jared need to do? Does he need to get up and just and call? Is he, you got a gay watch on, or like what does he need? Like, did he need to do the Strickland approach? Like, what does Cannonier need to do?
You guys just said Izzy won because he got 2 big fights, because that's a sellable fight. Cannonier is just a guy that wins fights, and that should be enough. Anyway.
All right, next athlete to the scale is the number 9.
Who do we got?
Middleweight contender, Uriah Time Hall.
The veteran Uriah Hall. Here he comes. £186, the official weight for the veteran Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall at 186. His fight with Andre Muniz is now official. Uriah Hall always in spectacular shape. He will turn 38, I believe, at the end of this month, if I'm not mistaken. He will turn 38. Yes, so he'll have his birthday later this month. And he looks fantastic. He's been around. It's clearly, again, sort of a gatekeeper fight, as it were, if you want to call it that. And I definitely don't count him out. This fight was supposed to happen in April, got postponed for undisclosed reasons. Now we're going to see it happen on a pay-per-view preliminary card.
I'm just I'm kind of shocked that he's such a heavy favorite over Cannonier.
I'm not super. Again, people just don't. And it's weird because Cannonier is like a fight finisher too. It's not even like a guy he grinded his way to it. It's like, no, he finishes fights. Like he's a knockout guy.
He got here because of violence.
Yeah.
He put a hurting on very, very good fighters to get to this position, and it didn't seem to carry over to this main event as far as any sort of hype or buzz.
I think it's also hard. He lost pretty convincingly to Robert Whittaker. And so there's that sense that it's weird when you are clearly the number one contender, but it's like you're not necessarily the number one guy in the rankings. Like obviously we wouldn't put him above Whittaker, but just as far as guys who haven't fought Israel Adesanya yet, he is the clear cut number one guy. So it is kind of funny, and fans care about that stuff too. I think fans do care about that stuff. I don't think they hate like Jared Cannonier or don't want to see him get a touch shot. I think everyone's pretty aware that he was the guy, but it's not like they were demanding it either. It feels mandatory, and mandatory isn't bad. But it feels mandatory, right?
Yeah, just I mean, I just have to remember, prize fighting, outside of the cage is so much more important than what you do actually inside the cage. I always forget. I'm just thinking like, oh, the performances, but like all this buzz for Strickland, I'm just kind of shocks me, but also doesn't surprise me either. It's kind of going both ways.
Yeah,
just like,
Mike and Jose.
The reality of what the UFC fan base is.
Yeah, Mike and Jose. The reaction for Strickland at the press conference and everywhere else he's been, I guess, the other stuff, it's been positive, right? Mostly positive. Like I called him polarizing, but like the public reaction has been very, very positive and very like they're for this guy.
Oh yeah, he was over. He was insulting people in the crowd. He's literally insulting people in the crowd. He was pointing out individuals in the crowd. People that were cheering for him, AK. Sure. They were cheering for him.
And they probably deserved it. They probably deserved it, if we're being honest.
They were just like, ooh, he was talking about me. And they were so excited. It was just...
Give us hell, Quimby. Weird. Give us hell, Quimby. Yes.
It was very weird.
it's funny. So the thing is, and we call him polarizing. His for the most part in interviews, except for of course that very revealing interview he did on the MMA Hour where he talked about went very in deep about like his neo-Nazi past and other like his violent thoughts and literally wanting to murder people. Guys, I'm not putting words in his mouth, by the way. If anything, I'm probably sugarcoating it. If you never saw his appearance,
you are super sugarcoating it.
If you never saw, and he's tweeted about this too. But I will say,
he got banned from Twitter.
Yes,
because of his very transphobic remarks.
Yes, those two.
Let's not
just
forget
in general.
That. Like
he also, but he was. I don't think. But he was not banned for like him talking about like wanting to openly like murder people. I think he wasn't banned for that. Like he said that on
which
Twitter,
he kind of made a good point actually talking about like I can't say this word, but I can put a gun to someone's head and and shoot him on TV. Not him, but
his whole social media persona is objectionable. But I will say So the one thing he is strategic about is, for the most part, when he's done live interviews, he doesn't share some of these more heinous opinions. You know what I mean? He's not like doing this like in a post-fight speech. You know what I mean? Because I think there's a large
post-fight press conferences.
Well, not the stuff like the transphobia, the homophobia.
Yeah.
I mean, calling the watch gay was, again, you're on the line right there.
You go watch his scrums with like after his Hermanson win, his Uriah win. It's not great.
What did he say? What did he say? The post-fight press conference?
He called a couple of reporters a couple things, and then he laughed about it. It was just
oh gosh, I remember that. But compared to, I think, some of the really, really bad things he said on Twitter, I think a lot of people aren't aware of those things, and that's why, like, we always say, like, oh, how these people say these things on social media. I think there's a lot, like, people we don't realize, like, some people are very unaware and don't care about fighters, athletes, celebrities, social media person. Like, they're just like, that's a whole other world for some people. So it's like a very different, like, I think it's a very different audience that might be necessarily cheering him, unequivocally, and those who are sort of aware of some of his darker, much more offensive thoughts. But I don't know. That's my theory. Because as you guys said, it's been pretty popular this week.
The one thing I do admire Strickland and coming out and talking about his neo-Nazi past and saying he's a better person and doesn't believe in those things anymore. I think that's a good thing. But but the rest of it can just whatever. It's all trash. But
I mean,
Strickland is a good fighter. He is a good fighter, and this is an interesting fight. And if he wins, he's created enough buzz to earn a title shot, and he will make the UFC and Israel Adesanya, if he wins Saturday, a lot of money too. So sorry, heck.
Love him or hate him, people gravitate towards other people who are unapologetically who they are. Like, Sean Strickland is as real as it gets. He is not going to change for anybody, and it might be to a fault in this case, but I mean, Diaz brothers obviously very popular, and the biggest reason is that they just are who they are. They're not trying to fabricate anything. Sean sort of takes that to a different level, but it's funny because, like, even certain times he catches himself. Like, he'll say something, he goes, I probably should have said that. He just has no stop. He has no brakes in his car at all. He just drives 100 miles an hour. He'll hit the brakes, and then it takes like a minute and a half for the car to stop. That's how Sean, his mind works when he's talking and really fired up. So I will add
to that, though. Just being yourself does not make you popular. Otherwise, Demetrius Johnson would have been like the most popular fighter of all time. Because there's very few fighters who are just who they are themselves than like Demetrius Johnson. So it's you have to be yourself, and you have to say things that are in line with a lot of, I think, MMA fans' politics. I think that has to do with it.
If DJ was a middleweight, do you think we'd be having the same conversation?
Yeah, I do. I think there's a lot of fighters who are genuine, but some of them are genuinely nice, and that does not equate to popularity in the world of MMA. I think people think that maybe they think people being nice is phony. I don't know. I think people who are being a-holes are just as phony. Like, I don't know. I really do. Like, I'm not a fan of. I believe in the whole genuine thing. I think that is true, that the most popular fighters are the ones who people say perceive as being real. I see people say authenticity, sure, but I've seen people who are authentically nice and they're not popular. So why does authentically being nice or authentically being thoughtful or authentically being like a Genki Sudo type, like, loving everybody. That's authentic. Why does that not equal popularity? So why is it only we say, oh, it's authentic when someone's being a dickhead, and that makes them popular? I don't know. I don't understand that. I'm just saying. I'm not. I mean, am I? People said the same thing about Connor. Oh, Connor's so real. Connor's like, that dude keeps it real.
For
like,
nothing though.
Yeah.
I'm also not a big fan of like transphobia, so I don't care if he's authentic or not.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
exactly. But again, that's
I put being transphobic on the same level as being racist and openly being racist.
Homophobic.
I put that on the same level,
absolutely.
and that's why I'm just not cool with it. But as a fighter, he's a fucking good. He's a good fighter. He's an excellent fighter.
Oh, my ears!
I know.
My freaking ears!
I'm trying not to curse unnecessarily, but I save it, But no, he's a good fighter. He's earned his spot, and
listen.
I mean,
if he
I have no
wins on
issue with the fighting. I have no issue of him winning and getting a title shot. None.
If he wins on Saturday, you will not hear us saying like, "Oh, Sean Strickland shouldn't get a title shot." It's like, no, listen, he's earned it. He's how many? What's the streak he's on now? Let's look at his stats here. Strickland is on. He's 7-0 at middleweight, including a catchweight bout, which was scheduled a catchweight. So nobody missed weight. So I consider him 7-0 since moving up from 170 pounds. The second longest middleweight streak behind Adesanya. So he's a six straight in this weight class, or 6 straight. Yeah, he just beat Jack Hermanson. That's a big one. He's 25-3 in his career, and I think undefeated. I'm pretty sure undefeated at 185. I believe all those losses are at welterweight, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. So, if anything, he probably could have been due a title shot earlier. So yeah, this is the one. This is the one to take from the guy Alex Pereira, who they have been building towards a title shot. It's such a super compelling fight.
Excellent matchmaking here, okay.
Perfect.
Excellent matchmaking.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect matchmaking. All right. It's been a while since we saw someone weigh in. All right, let's get to the. We haven't. I'm glad we saved. Normally, we'd start off with the main and co-main. I'm glad we saved it, so Mike was able to join us.
I want to. Is Mike still here? How's Radio Row been, Mike?
There's people here. There's fighters here on the stage. But as far as what's happening here, have I talked to any fighters? The answer is no. So, yeah, that's where we are. I just said hello to Vanessa Demopoulos. That's it. Nope.
Demo.
No, we're just kind of waiting. We're waiting for the fighters to arrive. So they have like different groupings. Some are doing meet and greets right now from 9:30 to 11:30 local time, and then at noon there's like another crop that comes in. So I'm hoping what happens is the next crop will come in here and do interviews with us before they go up there. Maybe do it that way, but yeah, I hosted Heck of a Morning from here. That's the highlight. Besides being here with you guys, that's where we're at right now.
Oh. You always know what to say. Mike,
authenticity, baby. Authenticity.
You're the most authentic man I know. The most authentic man in the industry. The first, which one of the two headliners do you want to talk about?
Whatever you want, AK. You're the host. You tell me what you want to talk about.
You know what? We've been going from bottom up. Let's not break that trend. Volkanovski, Holloway 3. What's your level of anticipation out of 10? What do you got for me, Mike?
Out of 10? 42, AK. 42. I can't wait to see this fight.
Sir, 42 is not a number between 1 and 10.
Well, it is today, AK.
We got rules. We have rules.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, this fight is tremendous. I can watch these guys fight every single time. They want to do a best of 14, 13, 15, 21. Yeah. I'll watch them all. I'm excited. Let's go. Holloway need to get all fired up at the press conference, but between media day and the presser, he's actually sold me even more. I kind of like this chip on his shoulder. You don't see that from Holloway that often. But the last time we saw it was when Cater called him a freshman and said that he was the better boxer. I'm like the senior in high school, and Max Holloway's like the freshman. You could tell Holloway was all fired up. He's bringing a little bit of that same energy. And you don't hear Holloway say, I'm going to go in there and end this fight inside of 3 rounds. When was the last time you heard Max Holloway say that? So I'm curious. It seems like he knows something that we don't. And Volkanovski's just Volkanovski. He's ready for everything, or at least he seems to be ready for everything. What can Holloway do differently this time around that Volkanovski isn't prepared for? Can't wait to see it because Volk has just been so good. And I just don't know if anybody could slow that man down. But if anybody could do it on a great night, like on a night like he had in January of 2021 when he fought Calvin Kattar, it's Max Holloway. So give it to me. I'm ready. Love it. 42, the answer remains, AK. Sorry to break the rules. Had to do it.
Should this have been the main event? Should Volkanovski Holloway been the main event? And why or why not?
It's because of Izzy. I mean, Izzy's a star. He's got to be the main event spot. Now, in terms of fight,
is Izzy a bigger star than say Max Holloway?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I believe. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if we're talking like International Fight Week, you got to put Adesanya's face up there. He's over like Rover for sure. Now Max is over as well, no doubt about it. But and I understand that the higher weight class normally gets that rub anyways. But I feel like Izzy's just signed the new deal, making all this money, all that. You have to put him in this spot. You have to put him in the spot and let him do his thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
As much as I
I think it's time to someone else.
Oh, okay.
As much as I love honorary Torontonian Max Holloway, I think Israel Adesanya has crossed over a bit more into the mainstream in a way that Max was never quite able to do, even when he was champion. A popular UFC fighter, but not someone that I think drew in more casual eyeballs. Not to say that Adesanya has reached that sort of Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, John Jones level, but I feel like he's close. I think he's like just like a notch below there. I think he's the kind of guy people see who might not be interested in fighting at all. They see him, and I think he has that kind of star power. I think there's a charisma about him that does cross over. And Holloway's just never really been about that. He's been a people's champion for sure, beloved figure in the MMA community. But I don't know if he passes like the mom test. I think Izzy's a little bit closer there.
Right,
Manny
so
up on the string. Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, I firmly.
Yeah, it's not about social media followers and crowd reaction at the press conference. It's who's going to go out there and sell a card. Max Holloway is a great fighter, and he's a nice dude. And if Max was put in a position to sell his next video gaming stream, he would do that better than Adesanya. But in terms of selling a fight, saying things that people are going to remember, Max is just like, it is what it is. Let's go. Two guys fighting. Anything can happen. Izzy's got lines. He's ready. Like, Izzy could carry a card on his back in terms of promotion. I don't know if, like, Max is popular just as a fighter, but I don't know if, like, Max can carry a card like that in terms of, okay, listen, we're trending in a good direction. We need to get, like, another 100,000 pay-per-view buys. Who are you going to send Adesanya to? Who are you going to send to do, like, a big interview with Jimmy Kimmel to try to put it over the top? Are you going to send Max over there, or are you going to send Israel Adesanya over there? So that's why I think he's in this main event spot. It's not a thing of popularity. It's who is popular, but who could also carry the burden to say the right things to get more people to watch. And I feel like Adesanya is just better on the mic in that sense. But yeah. Holloway has crossed over outside of MMA, same as Izzy. Max probably has more like social media followers and things like that. More people probably know who Max Holloway is. But in terms of having the cake and eating it too, having a star, but also a guy who will put the company over and draw interest by his words, Adesanya is better than Max at that, 100%.
Yeah, he wears his. I feel like he wears his fame and he wears being a star better, if that makes sense. I feel like Max could do without it. I feel like Max is kind of like, he certainly enjoys fighting in front of people and putting on a show and being an entertainer. He loves that. He loves the people. He loves putting on a show for the fans. But I don't know. Like, I feel like Izzy wears all that other stuff better. All the big endorsements and all the just wanting to be famous and wanting to put it like. It's a thin line. It's a thin line. I get what some people are saying in the comments, like why they're saying they think Holloway's a bigger deal, but I do think Izzy.
Yeah. I just think the matchup, Holloway's popularity, Volkanovski's dominance at featherweight, and the trilogy fight. I just think that headline's better, but I get it. Yeah, just as a fight itself, not as individual fighters, but yeah.
Oh, if I can only pick one fight to watch of the two, it's Volkanovski Holloway, and it's not even close. But I think we're all on the same page. I think we all kind of understand it. I think we're all. I mean, even the poll answers all the questions. And what it's still.
Yes,
Volkanovski
the poll never
Holloway,
lies.
right?
Never lies. 47%. 47%.
we also are talking to a very curated, hardcore audience. The UFC doesn't really care about this audience, honestly, because
for sure.
That's the difference. That's what we have to kind of. And these are kind of the metrics and numbers we don't really know that the UFC knows better than we do. You know, kind of like who's getting more clicks on like just People Magazine or something. You know, just regular stuff. You know,
they have us. We're watching. We're watching.
Yeah, we're already watching. Yeah.
The people watching this stream are the highest, like the 99th percentile of the most intelligent, sophisticated, educated viewers. We love you guys. That's why we know your opinion is the real one that counts. But yes, the UFC has other metrics to look at, a much broader field to take into consideration, and we understand that. But yeah, according to the people, Volkanovski Holloway 3 certainly the fans still. Oh my, Mike Heck was looking like Dwayne Johnson next to John Anik. Yeah, the dude is Diesel. What else? What else can you say?
I like to lift heavy things. That's it. I ain't rocking a 6-pack under here. I can tell you that right now. But I like to just lift heavy things. That's it. That's it. I'm a meathead.
Let's talk about the main event, guys. Understandably, you know, we've said it a bunch of times. You guys have been talking about during the week. It's the anticipation is a little muted. We've touched upon why. Let's look at it from another angle. How do we like Cannonier's chances to pull off an upset here? Mike?
Excuse me. I think from a stylistic perspective, I think Cannonier actually presents Izzy with some problems. He's a super duper athlete. The guy can wrestle, but he can also strike into his wrestling very effectively. The Jared Cannonier leg kicks are such an underrated weapon in this fight. That's why I picked him against Derek Brunson. Eventually those leg kicks are going to pick up. Eventually you're going to make people uncomfortable. And once they make you uncomfortable, that's when Cannonier starts to get excited. He realizes he's got you. He realizes he takes a big weapon away from you, and then he can pounce on that. Do I favor Adesanya to win the fight? Sure. Do I agree with the betting line? No, I don't. I think Cannonier makes this sort of a dogfight. I think that's his best chance. He needs to throw multi-strike combinations that include multiple leg kicks. He's got to keep Adesanya guessing, but make his shots count. And if he can get Izzy, if he can start rattling Izzy, get him on his back foot, kicking the legs a little bit, get a couple of takedowns, this fight becomes very, very interesting. But if Jared has a hard time dealing with Izzy's range, he can't get inside, he can't be effective at all at the striking, it could be a very long night for Cannonier. But I think Jared's ready for this. I think this is a much closer fight than people believe it's going to be. I give Cannonier a better chance than most. I'll say that.
Cannonier currently plus 380 underdog on DraftKings, so pretty sizable, almost 4-1 underdog.
When and on Tapology, the biggest underdog too.
How much?
Only 9% of people picking him.
9%.
Yeah.
Is there a chance we see a gun-shy Cannonier at all? Could this be one of those title defenses where Mike Hunt, as you said, he doesn't get his leg kick game going. He doesn't find a way to sort of mix in some wrestling. He's too respectful of the champion. Do we think that there's a chance that this could be a lackluster main event?
He's been saying the right things all week, right? He's not listening to any of the outside noise. He doesn't care what the fans think. He doesn't care what Adesanya says. He's just focused on him and himself. So maybe there's some of that to that. Maybe he's not as loose as maybe he could be, but there are certain fighters who don't need to be loose. They like to be serious, and it makes them better with all the focus and everything. So I'm not really sure. We kind of have to wait, but more importantly, someone step into that scale, AK.
All right, next fighter to the scale, one half of a featured bout on the pay-per-view main card, the middleweight division, Alex Pereira.
Oh. Alex Pereira, one half of the Poatan, one of the most talked about fights of this card. As you guys saw, we just talked about the fight, I think, for 20 minutes straight. More so, very much because of his opponent, Sean Strickland.
184 and a half. 184 and a half, the official weight for Alex Pereira.
184.5 for Alex Pereira. Well, right under championship weight. He is ready. He wants that Israel Adesanya title fight. Him and his team have made no secret that is the fight they want. Adesanya's team has said a lot of, we don't think he deserves it, but certainly we also, would be interested in that fight as well. It's all about just taking care of business on
Saturday. Jose, can I get a tattoo check on Alex Pereira? Good, bad? Did you get a good look there?
I'm a big fan of if you win a championship for fist fighting human beings, you should probably get that championship belt tattooed on your bicep like Alex Pereira.
Oh. Wait, is that what he has a belt on there already?
Yeah, on his right bicep, like the
his
inner
glory
right
belt?
bicep. Yeah, I can't tell, but it's clearly a championship belt.
Okay. Yeah, if it's a glory belt, if it's a UFC belt, I'd be like, whoa, no, easy there, Jason Terry. All right, take it easy.
It doesn't look like a UFC belt.
Okay, it's probably glory. Yeah, glory
It's also
championship.
it's also very clearly from a while ago because it's
Okay.
very. It's beyond healed.
Yeah. Two division glory champion, I believe, right? Maybe one of them was interim, I think, but I believe he did have titles in two glory divisions, if I'm not mistaken.
Real quick, when you said Izzy and Izzy's camp said that Pereira doesn't deserve a title shot, is that right now, or is that under the assumption that he defeats Strickland?
No, his phrasing was deserving is subjective. He hasn't earned it, but he's happy he's here and he wants to fight him next if he wins.
Okay, well, yeah, I didn't really. Yeah, I guess. Saturday night we'll know more how they.
Yeah.
You know.
For sure. There's no reason for them to commit either way, right? To commit to Strickland, to commit to Pereira, or to someone else. Who knows? Some other option could somehow come along outside those two. It's MMA. It's the UFC. Nothing is guaranteed. There's never any such thing as an actual number one contenders fight. It's always funny when people say, "Oh yeah, my manager said it's a number one contenders fight."
One of Cannonier wins.
Rematch.
There's your rematch, right?
Yeah,
you run it back.
Do you run it back? You know, there's
Exactly.
Who knows.
By the way, Jose mentioned this earlier. In case anyone has not seen the weigh-ins for Jared Cannonier, for Israel Adesanya, for Max Holloway, for the champ Alex Volkanovski, those are up on the MMA Fighting social medias. Jose working hard always to get that stuff up there. So thank you, social media, Jose, social media team. So in case you guys missed that, I'm sure we'll run it back later, Casey, if we have some time.
I can run it right now.
We don't have to now because again, I think people can come up at any moment.
Don't tell me what I can and cannot do.
Listen, you're the producer.
It's Canada Day, Casey.
You're the producer.
It's Mike's. AK's one day.
I know. I shouldn't even be on. I'm legally. I'm not even supposed to be on this broadcast.
Casey was right.
Oh yeah, Mike. Happy Canada Day.
Mike. Happy Canada Day.
You missed the celebration.
Happy Canada Day to you, AK.
Thank
Celebration.
You.
The scale celebrating in a rhythm in the UFC's flyweight division, the number 13 ranked contender, the future.
Here's the future. Wait, we have two futures?
Oh boy, that's confusing.
It's like when we had like the Italian Stallion, the Italian Dream on the same card.
126, the official weight for Macy Barber.
126 for Macy Barber. I believe her opponent Jessica, also came in at 126, so that fight is official.
Uh-oh.
Oh!
I'm using... Oh.
Should I acapella?
There we go.
Two people call it the future on this card.
Well-oiled machine. What was that one card? We had the Italian Gangster, we did the Italian Dream, and then I think just the Dream, right? There was it was a Marvin Vittori card. And it was
You're the Buff fan?
It was very confusing.
Bruce Buffer getting after it here.
What's he doing?
This is the official kickoff of UFC X.
Oh. What was that card? I'm gonna go find it.
Oh, we hear it fine. We hear it fine, Mr. Heck.
Only here, baby.
Dang. Oh, well, there you go.
Are you ready? Are you excited? Are you amped, AK? Let's go.
People at I'm really more of a Joe Martinez guy, but listen, people at UFC X getting the full Bruce Buffer experience. So that's pretty cool.
I'm a classy Jimmy Lennon guy.
I'm saying sometimes, hey, sometimes I'm in the mood for a little Jimmy Lennon Jr. A little JLJ.
Good on Buffer.
Listen, hey, the guy worked hard. Like I say, he's down there. He's down at the X. The X stands for Expo, I assume. Again, I'm just guessing.
And the number 10.
Is this the 10th International Fight Week?
It's the 10th Expo, yeah.
10th Expo, yeah. Whoa.
Whoa. Mike, while we have you, do you have to run soon? You don't care about those?
I have no idea if I have to run soon.
Okay.
So
while we have you, can you do a classic Mike Heck rundown?
I would be honored and privileged.
Oh,
to do
please.
that.
We haven't done one all day.
All right, hold on. Gotta get this queued up. One moment.
That's right. It's coming.
And 3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody. UFC 276 going down tomorrow night, T-Mobile Arena. Main event, Israel Adesanya defending his middleweight title against Jared Cannonier. Adesanya, 183.5. Challenger, Jared Cannonier, 184.5. The co-main event is official as well. The trilogy fight for the featherweight title. Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, both in at 144.5. Alex Pereira went in at 184.5. He takes on Sean Strickland, who has yet to step on the scale. Brian Barberina, 170.5 for his battle with Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler still to come, stepping up to the scale. Pedro Munoz, 135.5, taking on Sean O'Malley, made championship weight, 135. Brad Riddell, 155.5, takes on Jalen Turner in the featured prelim. Still awaiting the arrival of the Tarantula. Donald Cerrone versus Jim Miller is official. Both veteran fighters weighing in at 170.5. Ian Gary weighed in at 171 for his third UFC fight against Gabe Green, who weighed in at 170. Brad Tavares, 185.5, taking on Dricus Duplessis, who weighed in at 185. Uriah Hall versus Andre Muniz is official. Hall weighing in at 186. Muniz, 185.5. Jessica Eye versus Macy Barber is a go, 126 apiece. And the first fight of the night, women's bantamweight division, Jess Rose Clark, 135.5, taking on Julia Stoliarenko, who weighed in at 136. Back to you, AK.
Nobody does it better. The best in the biz. The best in the biz. How do you do it? How do you do it all?
I don't know.
We have the preview show later. Mike, will you be on the preview show?
I will not.
Jose, you will be. And I think Shaheen Al-Shadi, thank you. And I think Shaheen Al-Shadi will be joining us, I think. Casey, producer extraordinaire Casey.
The featured prelim live on ABC and ESPN in the lightweight division. The Tarantula, Jalen Turner.
The Tarantula, Jalen Turner coming up.
$155.5. 155.5, the official weight for Jalen Turner.
155.5 for Jalen Turner. His bout with Brad Riddell is now official. Jose, you're there. What's your gauge on the accuracy of the scale reading? Not that I would accuse any official.
I have absolutely no idea.
Because I'm looking and I'm.
Or thought of it.
It's a little quick at times. I'm seeing a little bit of the glance and bang, as I like to call it. It's a little bit of the. He's kind of just going up. He's shaking around a little bit, and then
don't get us demonetized. Don't get us demonetized.
Don't get us demonetized. No, that's okay. I'm allowed to say that now. I cleared it with HR. That is. I feel like we're getting a casual reading of the scale. I don't know if that's fair to say.
How about the next person that comes out? If they're not like a major player, I'll zoom in real tight for you.
Yeah. Break it down, and then we'll do a little slow motion after. We'll break it down. We'll get the footage, do a little slow motion, because we've talked about this before with kind of what happened with Charles Oliveira, and what kind of happens with the beam scale, and we've seen different people take a little more time with it, and they kind of like, oh, are you really on? And then you have guys who I think the gentleman today seems to kind of just be putting it vaguely within range of where it's supposed to be, and then just smashing it down to the old smash down at the end of the scale. Which, by the way, I encourage. All right, I encourage. I think measuring ounces is getting a little silly. Carlos Oliveira should still be the lightweight champion. Yes, rules rule. Oh, here we go. Here, guys, we got a replay of your middleweight main event.
Israel Adesanya. 184.5, the official weight for Jared Cannonier.
I'm just going to show the replay of the main event one more time.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
183.5, the official weight for the champ, Israel Adesanya.
Oh, he is
the official weight for Jared Cannonier.
He is definitely doing he is not waiting for the scale to stop moving. It's like, if it's even, it's just, as soon as it's slightly, are you sure? One more time?
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at the Cannonier one. Look at the Cannonier one.
183.5, the official weight for the champ, Israel Adesanya.
Wobbling.
Close enough.
What? Close enough.
Oh,
close enough.
The official weight for Jared Cannonier.
That was horrible. Oh my god.
Casey,
it was like boing, boing, boing.
No,
okay, there, got it.
No, it stopped moving. It stopped moving. He waited exactly for it to stop moving, and then he. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's all about. Stop it. Stop it. Don't look at it.
Holy cow. I mean, I have no doubt Cannonier made weight, but
yes, I agree.
But yeah, we were just going on the honor system, I guess. Now, like that was not our weigh-in.
This is why I tell people. People ask, look, rules rule always, but this is why I don't care about. I saw the Oliveira weigh-in, and there was a completely unnecessary level of scrutiny there, and he ended up missing by what point? What did he end up missing? Oh, the 0.5, right?
0.5, and then he had the hour, and he didn't drop any weight. He was like, whatever.
I know. But again,
I just love that controversy because the controversy is like, I can't believe the commission did their job. That was the anger. How dare the commission do their job?
Anger. I was part of that anger. How dare you accurately weigh someone? How dare you? Listen, this is relevant now. We just had Daniel Cormier, of course, last night at the Hall of Fame with the earth-shattering reveal. And, oh my guys, did you know that he actually did hold the towel ahead of the Anthony Johnson fight? I couldn't believe it. I think
it's true.
All I have to say is like, we all knew DC did that, of course, but that is not on DC. That is on the freaking commission. Like every single fighter does that. It's for some reason the commission just decided to go, I don't know what to do, and just if you watch a replay, everyone, I think there's like 6 people around the scale. Not one person is actually looking at DC. Everyone's looking down at the digital scale. It's wild.
Mike, what do you think when you saw that at the Hall of Fame? What do you think of Cormier finally pulling the curtain back?
I fell over in my chair. I was like, and fell down. I couldn't believe it. That was great. I mean, that was the perfect time to actually just let that off his chest, right? Made a great moment, made a memorable ceremony, and no one's really surprised, but never really heard him say the words. So, authenticity.
Yeah, listen, it's one of the most
5 years after the fact or whatever.
I get it. I'm not Anthony Johnson. I'm not the one who had to deal with Dan Cormier, and fight. I understand. So it's easy for me to say like, oh, that was like the most harmless, quote unquote, cheating that I've ever seen. That's how I look at it.
And take in mind too, this wasn't the final weigh-in for DC2. He still had either an hour or 2 hours to make weight. That was actually still in the allotted 2-hour window. Like people were thinking like he wasn't gonna make weight or whatever, but yeah, he just kind of came out like, oh, let me just do this and like, go New York, yeah.
Someone in the comments, I shouldn't even read this. D-Rock said, I think they're joking, but I'm not sure. They said cheated. They said you guys would crucify John Jones. It's like, no, we have a lot of other stuff over John Jones to get him.
That's what we're gonna get John Jones on. That's it.
Him holding onto a towel would have been like we would have we would have just laughed at.
You can't use crucifying John Jones in the same sentence. It's already been tested.
Right. Edit that out.
Edit that, yeah.
That I did not clear with HR.
There was outrage the day that happened. Remember? There was. This was not glossed over at the time. But all these years later, it's like a funny footnote in MMA history. It's just here we are. The That's what happens. Weird things happen. What changes weirdness? Victories. You go out there and win, you almost like forget that it happened. That's how one-on-one sports work.
I saw Michael Jordan push a guy down ahead of the very last shot of his career. All right? Does anyone care? Does anyone go back and go like, oh, I wish that Michael Jordan shot hadn't counted? It's like, no, who gives a shit?
Saturday night,
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here is one of the most talked about fighters of this card, Mr. Sean Strickland.
the official weight for Sean Strickland.
185.5 for Sean Strickland, and that means yes, his fight with Alex Pereira is official. Are we just waiting for one Mr. Robert Lawler? I think that's it.
Just Robert.
Just Robert. Is he actually a Robert, or is he actually? Oh no, he is a Robert. Okay.
Bob Law.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about. You don't like that Robert Lawler. Here is the featherweight title fight weigh-in.
144 and a half, the official weight for Alexander Volkanovski. 144 and a half, the official weight for Max Holloway. Your co-main event and main events are official.
There is zero reason for the commission guys to slide that bar to the side. There's zero reason. It's
you gotta put. He likes to put a little sauce on it.
Like why? Like why are they doing that? Like
144 and a half, the official weight for Alexander Volkanovski. 144 and a half, the official weight for Max Holloway. Your co-main event and main events
style
are official.
Yeah, you're right.
Panache. I don't know what you mean.
One more time for the kids.
Listen, this is not the same.
Dude, Volkanovski's scale was still moving. Look at
this. The official weight for Alexander Volkanovski.
That's not even. Holloway wasn't even close.
The official
it's getting worse. Every time I look at it, it gets worse and worse.
And main events are official.
I like this guy.
Oh my gosh.
I like this guy. Nothing wrong with what this guy's doing. All right. And again, listen. I'm not an official of the commission. I've never done this before. I shouldn't tell him how to do it. I don't know how it's done. Casey, have you ever done it?
Yeah.
Oh, you've used a scale before. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, in that case, yeah. I don't know. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny.
I mean,
we know they're.
I do not doubt these gentlemen may wait, but it's just like,
come
on, man, bake it. Jesus.
At least pretend.
He just grabs the scale and just throws it. Just picks it.
I hope for the last one he just knocked the scale over, like not.
Just drop kicks it. 171, Robbie Lawler.
Listen, what's important is that fights are happening. Okay. Again, most guys it's again at most half an ounce difference. As long as we're not over, then what is the big deal? We're not sticklers for this sort of thing. Just punching in these last few.
So we have 30 minutes for Mr. Bob Law.
And I have a feeling he's just taking this out. He is a veteran. He's done this dance many, many, many times. I would not be concerned about Robbie Lawler. Trying to think if he's ever, he used to compete at 185. Has he ever missed?
Robert.
It's Robert in a cage.
Oh, Robert. Excuse me. Robert.
Yeah.
Robert.
He has never missed weight at 170. He has never missed weight at 170. So, not super concerned about it. I think he's just taking his time. I think we're gonna have a nice. How many fights is this guy? Ended up being 13, I think, right? 12.
So AK some breaking news for you. His full legal birth name is Robert Glenn Lawler.
Really?
RGO.
Robert. That's you know what though? That does kind of sound like a serial killer. So if you say it all the
Robert
names.
Glenn Lawler, yeah.
Robert Glenn Lawler. Oh, that's almost scarier than Robbie Lawler.
Robert Glenn Lawler, yeah.
Yeah, Robbie sounds nice. Like Robbie says, oh cool, hey, Robbie's coming. Robert, yes. Robert sounds really. I hope however long he continues his career.
But if you said, there's a nationwide manhunt for Robert Glenn Lawler.
Yeah. Lock your doors. Lock your doors. Close your windows. because I would be very scared. Every time you see breaking news, I keep expecting horrible to happen, like some sort of weird cancellation. But no, for anyone watching, again, we've had no other bumps in the road. We did lose Lauren Murphy and Misha Tate, which was, but we found that out last week. That was announced last week's show. The fight wasn't happening.
Murphy said it was COVID. Was it?
Yes, she got COVID.
Yeah.
So very likely going to be postponed, right? Just postponed. They will reschedule.
It's gonna be at Long Island.
Long Island.
It's already been rescheduled. Okay. UFC Long Island, or UFC on ABC 3, whatever people want to call it. But yes, UFC.
Hey,
Long
if there was a
Island.
card that could take a hit, it was this card.
Yes, yes. No problem there. And again, thankfully the fight is still happening.
Yeah.
We did lose Casey O'Neill. Unfortunately, she tore her ACL, so she'll be out of
bummer.
action for some time. She was supposed to fight Jessica Ai. Macy Barber stepping in, and of course Donald Cerrone stepping in for Bobby Green to fight Jim Miller in a very wonky and fun welterweight bout. Cerrone now, the number keeps getting messed up. I think he keeps messing it up, and I don't blame him also, because he's probably got it in his head, because he was supposed to fight Joe Lozon twice, so like he probably has to keep ticking the number back down. But this will be UFC appearance 38. I believe he said at the media day earlier, this was combined UFC WEC appearance 49. He's not there yet. It was 10 WEC appearances, 38 UFC appearances. So this is 38. So he still has 2 more fights after this one if he wants to hit 50 Zuffa things. So we're all pretty sure he's not going to retire regardless of what happens, right? Right, guys? Is that like tonight? Let's say he gets knocked out in the first round, he's not going to retire, right? He wants those 2 more fights, right?
I mean, I don't know. Will he willingly on his own retire? Probably not. Will he maybe get a promotional nudge out the door?
Yeah.
Probably not. But it won't be on Cerrone's own accord, I can tell you that, until he gets that 50th fight.
Yeah. Unless his wife says, I need a father for these children.
You've had your fun.
Yeah, you had your fun. So,
Casey, I'm gonna tell people to send in some questions.
I think it's a little too big of an if. If he, we don't really know until we see it. Ooh, ban.
All right, people. If anyone watching, send in some questions. We got about half an hour. We really don't know how long Robbie Lawler's going to take. Again, I'm pretty confident he's probably on weight. He's just taking his time. He is a veteran. He's, I don't think he's in any hurry. Could be wrong. Robbie Lawler could be a first time for everything. Maybe he does miss weight. Fingers crossed he doesn't, but it's certainly possible. We don't know. We really don't know. So guys, send in whatever questions you got. Let's make it. Let's open the floor. Open the floor to the MMA fighting family. Okay. Oh, I saw one pop up. So let's see if there's any others. Like we said, this is a card potentially rife with storylines. Yeah, we didn't even talk about this fight. Mariners fan wants to know predictions for Riddell Turner. I'm gonna go to Jose first. Jose, you're still with us?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Featured prelim. What is your prediction? Brad Riddell, Jalen Turner.
Probably Brad Riddell. I think he even said that no one really wanted to fight him because he's in that. I think he's still ranked in the UFC rankings. If not, he's just outside top 15. He said no one in top 15 wanted to fight him because he was in that. He's coming off a loss, a win over him won't really do anything, and he kind of acknowledged that. So he's like, I'll be the guy to give Jalen Turner a shot at reaching the top 15. So I think at this point in their careers, Brad Riddell is just better. You saw, if any of you guys watched the countdown, this is the first time they've had, the City Kickboxing has had the whole team, really. Dan Hooker's there, Alex Volkanovski and his team from Australia came to train in City Kickboxing. So Brad Riddell has basically had full camp with all of his training partners, everyone speaking at the same time. His main training partner was obviously Alex Volkanovski. So I think Jalen Turner is supremely talented. I think he's going to be a future top 15 lightweight. I think right now in 2022, I think Brad Riddell beats him.
Actually, that's a good question, Jose. Do you think this will be a sweep for that team, for that group? Brad Riddell, Izzy Volkanovski, and Carlos Ulberg last week, really even. Do you think they sweep 4-0 in their Vegas vacation?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's because they're all favored. Pretty sure they're all favored. I mean, definitely Volkanovski and Adesanya are, and I'm pretty sure Riddell as well. So Oh, could be. That's pretty. Yeah, and that is very cool. That is really their first time to
favorite,
yeah, just sort of all be on there together. Mike, what do you think? We're gonna sweep tonight.
Sorry. Tapology has Turner as the favorite, not as the
How much?
The fans.
How much?
54% are picking Turner.
Wow.
Turner's the betting favorite as well. So
yes. Oh wow, man. Yeah. Wow. One loss in a competitive fight against
that's all it takes.
Disease, man. All that hype is gone.
Yeah, minus 150. Wow. For Turner.
I lean Riddell, but it wouldn't stun me if Turner won. Momentum is so big in the sport, and Jalen's got a lot of it. But I feel like there's never bet on MMA, right, AK? But I feel like there is definitely dog value on Brad Riddell. Seeing Brad Riddell at a plus 130, it's an interesting line. Some value there. So I think Riddell is a very live underdog, and he's got the skills to win. Jalen's a great fighter. He's huge for this division. Presents, obviously, stylistic problems for a lot of guys, but I feel like Riddell, the experience, some of the bigger fights he's been in, I'll go with him to get it done, but it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, Riddell, I mean, has, I think, actually less pro MMA fights, but he's had a ton of pro kickboxing experience, very high-level kickboxing experience, too. And is also older. I think he's a little bit more in his physical prime, a little more mature. Though Jalen Turner is an absolute specimen. He looks incredible. But yeah, it definitely the experience and maturity also would have me leaning Riddell. But Turner's such an exciting prospect. I get it. I understand why he's favored. I totally get that. So looks like Casey had to disappear for a moment. So I will grab some of these questions. Oh boy, how does Casey do this? It's hard. This is crazy. No, I'm kidding. I'll go to our pal Joseph Boza. Oh, yes, of course. This is a popular question. Does Max Holloway move up to 155 pounds if he loses? I don't think people realize this will be his 26th UFC fight at 145 pounds. He's just barely 30 years old. That's right. He's still in his age 30 year. So is the next option, yeah, if he goes 0-3 against Volkanovski, Mike, what do you think? He's got to go up?
If he wants to. He's just going to go for fun, exciting fights at this point. Like, he doesn't need to be the champion. He doesn't need a title. We all talked about, a lot of people in the comments think he's a bigger star than Israel Adesanya. So he doesn't need the belts. He's got that appeal already. But, I mean, I think the more fun fights, the newness, if you will, is at 55. Like, we could do the Poirier, another fight with Poirier. We could do Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, which is a fight I've been clamoring for quite some time.
Yes. I'm just agreeing with you. That's
no. It's like wait. Maybe.
Oh, Mike froze for a second.
Maybe Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, but
no, you said Holloway Gaethje and it broke the internet. Like it just completely.
That's about right.
It broke it. It was too much. Your Holloway Gaethje is just too. It was too hot. It was too hot for the Wi-Fi. It was like no, we can't dare to dream about it yet until Holloway. If Holloway, like, if he does say, like, he's really going to make a move 25, like, that's immediately the fight. Everyone's like, it has to happen. Like, I don't know how much longer, again. He's only 30, but he does have a lot of mileage. I don't know how much longer Holloway wants to fight. At least I would think another 5 or 6 years, as long as, God willing, no serious health issues. But, but you start racking all those fights at lightweight. Again, another fight with Poirier, and then, or fights with Gaethje or other killers at 155. I don't know how much longer you put up with that. But there's been wars at 145, too, so. Craig wants to know, what do you think about Izzy saying he hates the undefeated at 185 promotional angle? Yeah, he kind of thinks it's silly for them to ignore that he lost a fight to Jan Blachowicz at 205. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Yeah, I don't. Wait, you like that he hates it, or you like that?
Oh, sorry. I like that Izzy. I like that Izzy hates it. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Go on.
And he's like, I lost the fight. Like weight classes are fun and everything, but like that just shows you that Izzy isn't worried about the O. He's like, he knows like a fight's a fight, and I lost that fight. It's acknowledging I lost that fight by kind of acting like it doesn't happen. That doesn't tell him as a fighter, I need to improve. I have improvements to make. So I think just for that drive that he needs, I'm still undefeated at 85. He doesn't need that kind of fake confidence, I guess. So I think this is a good thing. But when did he say this? Does he just kind of said this in general? I didn't.
Media day? You can find it at the MMA Fighting YouTube page on Media Day video that everyone watched.
So it was at Wednesday. I saw it. I just couldn't remember where it was from. Yeah, it was from Wednesday's media day. Yeah, I don't mind it. But again, I'm a nerd. So like, I like when people are very specific with language and saying like, oh yes, we want to still tout him as undefeated, but obviously, you know, we can't say undefeated because he lost the fight to Blachowicz. It's just an easy way to kind of sell him and sort of really classify his achievements. Like he went up, he lost. I think it's still significant that he hasn't lost in his weight class, the weight class he's a champion. But you're right, Casey. Like it is kind of cool that he's not just he's. I don't want to say he's not doing an O'Malley because I don't really have that much of a problem with O'Malley doing it either. O'Malley's doing a very different thing where he's calls himself undefeated because the loss to Marlon Vera, his leg went wonky on him, so he's been saying he's undefeated ever since then. I get it. That's a different thing. That's a little more annoying to people, but again, for me, it's like any way you can play around with your language and sort of fudge with your accomplishments without being too crazy, too unreasonable. I think it's okay. I think it's fine. And I think most people know he's not really undefeated. Sean O'Malley, I'm talking about. So.
But I do think it's interesting that Izzy will kind of be a stickler for, I've had losses, but then he kind of tries to undersell him losing to Pereira.
I think that was Izzy's worst moment at the press conference because he kept saying, "Did you watch the fight? Did you watch the fight?"
But it's true. Yeah, it's very true. If you actually watch the fight,
I get. Yeah, you don't need to raise your voice. I've seen it. I'm just saying, but like, what happened? Is that L there? Did he go to bed? Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not how you start; it's how the fight ends.
Yeah,
you got knocked out.
And I think the other problem, you're right, Jose. I think the other problem with him saying that is the fact is a lot of people didn't watch those fights, and it sucks to say that like a lot of people are not going to go back and watch those fights. They're just not going to. He can say it. You're right. He can say it all he wants. Like, well, did you see the fight? Did you see the fight? It's like they didn't. Most people didn't. I'm sorry. You're. I mean, what's out there is that clip of him getting colded, right?
Korean Zombie lost to Yair Rodriguez. We're not saying but that L is there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
it looks like someone's coming.
Here we go.
I'm just. Yeah.
Robbie's here.
Robert.
Oh no.
All right, and our last athlete to weigh in today, competing live on pay-per-view, former undisputed UFC welterweight champion, Ruthless Robbie Lawler. What's up?
Slow down, Robbie. No flexing yet.
171. 171, the official weight for Robbie Lawler.
171.
276 is official. We will see you guys.
Robert Lawler.
Weigh in later today at 4 p.m.
Robbie Lawler, excuse me. Damn it, Jose, you put it in my head. You put Robert Lawler in my head.
At 3 p.m.
Glenn.
Robert Glenn Lawler. His fight with Brian Barberena is official.
Come on, man. There we go.
Well, guys, that's the card. No misses. I'll do a rundown. I guess Mike is on Radio Row, so he's got his own responsibilities. Looks like we lost him a little back there. Casey, get that rundown music ready, and I will let people know how this turned out, how this crazy party turned out. Ooh. Oh yeah, it really puts you in the mood. All right, guys. UFC 276 official weigh-in results done with almost 20 minutes left to go. Very professional. At the very top, of course, the headliners. UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya coming in at 183.5 for his defense against number one contender Jared Cannonier, who came in at 184.5. Jared, number 4 in the MMA Fighting Global Rankings. Alexander Volkanovski, the featherweight champion, for his trilogy fight with Max Holloway, 144.5. Holloway coming in also at 144.5. Both gentlemen under. A featured middleweight bout, arguably the most highly anticipated bout now of the weekend. Sean Strickland at 185.5 and Alex Pereira, the Adesanya Slayer, at 184.5. Robbie Lawler, the last man to come in there, you just saw him, 171. His opponent, Brian Barberena, 170.5. And then the main card opener, Pedro Munoz at 135.5. The man with the most appearances at 135 pounds in UFC history, Pedro Munoz. his opponent, the not undefeated Sean O'Malley, at 135. The featured prelim is a lightweight bout. This will be on ABC, by the way, ABC primetime, between Brad Riddell and Jalen Turner is official. Both men coming in 155.5 pounds. Donald Cerrone stepping in on short notice to fight Jim Miller. So 2 lightweight crates. This fight was bumped up to welterweight. Cerrone at 170.5, Jim Miller at 170.5. Ian Gary, the future, one of 2 the futures on this card, coming in at 171 for his welterweight bout with Gabe Green, a gifted Gabe Green, Triple G. Brad Tavares, the veteran, at middleweight, coming in at 185.5 against Dricus du Plessis, also, who came in at 185, not also. No half ounce needed. And Uriah Hall, another middleweight, 186 for his fight with Andre Muniz. Andre Muniz coming in at 185.5. Jessica I, 126. She fights Macy, the future Barber. There's your other future, at 126. So both using the 1 pound allowance. And then opening up the entire card on the early prelims, Jessica Rose Clark at 135.5 for her bantamweight bout with former Invicta champion Julia Stolyarenko, coming in at 136. 12 fights, 24 fighters, all on weight. And people, we have ourselves a card. So people are asking, will there be a preview show? Yes, there will be a preview show fairly soon, I believe, actually. I think we'll be recording either at 3 or within the hour. So guys, look out for that. Casey, will that be live?
At the 11:30 Pacific. So
11:30 Pacific, yes, 11:30 local time in Vegas as well, yeah. So 2:30 Eastern time. We'll be live. We will be live?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be live, and hopefully joined by Shaheen Al-Shadi. And then face-offs, I assume, are coming at the top of the hour. Do you want people to just stay here, or what are we doing?
Face-offs for what?
Oh, there's. I did it again. Casey, I did it again.
This
there
is
will be no
pay-per-view.
I get in a rhythm, and sometimes I forget. Okay, yes, I'm sorry. There will be ceremonial weigh-ins today. What time?
4 o'clock Pacific.
4 o'clock. Oh my gosh, 4 o'clock.
But before that, there will be a press conference for something. The next
for another not even the next one. I think 278. I think.
Yeah. So
not 277. 278.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
all right. We know what's going on here, guys. We know what's going on. Stay tuned to MMA Fighting social media, MMAfighting.com. You'll see these updates. You'll see these posts go up. But thank you everyone for joining us. Yes, we will have a preview show very soon, about 45 minutes. So stay tuned for that. There'll be a Q&A tomorrow. Stay tuned for all of the coverage that Jose and Mike have been giving us on site. Thank you to producer Casey, who's getting down to the MMA Fighting chill music. And I'm Alexander K. Lee. Thank you everyone for joining us. And we will see y'all later. Enjoy the shows and enjoy the fights on Saturday.
And AK, happy birthday.
Thank you. Oh, no, wait, it's not my birthday.